Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I got an interesting story for you today. I posted it here on my Facebook. It was a conversation print screen that I documented a few years ago. A woman from here named Flo Rivas Rocha told me my son works at Home Depot and his coworkers heard kids underneath the bathroom floor. I found that real interesting, and because this wasn't the only person that told me the Home Depot was possibly connected to the crimes of my house. I posted a lot of them proofs here, and instead of reading the narrative like I usually do, what I'm gonna do is just go down to the proofs, and then I'm gonna show you the pictures, and I'm gonna talk about them, and print screens, and Google Maps, and etc. And let me start here. Here at my first comment, I said the bathrooms at Midland Home Depot store where kids were heard under the floor, according to Miss Rocha, are located on the south wall right next to where it's believed the human trafficking tunnel was located, going from there to my house. I want to show you that, and that's what I explained to her. This is a old Google Maps. Here's my home. Here's where somebody under my home shot me. Here's the alley. Here's the trekking lane behind Home Depot, and this is the Home Depot store. This is the south wall. Okay, here's the ditch. You can see real well where they cut going directly to my house. That was believed to be used for the underground parties. One of the underground homes is in my backyard. There's 4 of them. The old show parties, the pedophile parties, etc. That's where it's believed. And on the south wall, where that's where the restrooms are, and that's where she said that her son and their friends heard somebody under the floor, kids under the floor, and it was right there where that tunnel is. Okay, I want to show you that. Okay, the next comment, I said, possibly related to hearing kids under the Home Depot store, another woman told me that pedophile parties were going on in the underground homes. That phone call is now a YouTube video. This is a part of it right here.
Pizza parties. They said they're not called pizza parties, but I know what you're talking about.
Right, the pedophile parties.
Yes.
And then and see.
And so, kids on the floor, pedophile parties, you see how that goes together? The Midland Home Depot store is located directly behind my home and the underground home in my backyard, where it was said that pedophile parties were held and where it's believed the infamous old show parties were going on. My friend, Angie McGee at Hurley, told me about the forced prostitution murder of a young girl at a 2010 old show party, which had police there. And the young previous owner of my home was suspected of being murdered here the week before the 2008 old show parties started under his backyard. I want to show you here. This was old Google Maps. And, a woman actually told me, go look up your home on Google Maps, which I did. 3802 Fair Circle, Midland, Texas. You just go to maps.google.com, and on the map screen, there was a large building in my backyard right here, seen on the map screen, but from above ground of the satellite screen, you couldn't see it. So that's obviously one of the 4 underground homes. That's where it's believed the underground parties were going on, the old show parties, the pedophile parties, etc. I notified the city of Midland about this. I said multiple people documented saying it's here. There's supporting evidence on Google Maps, and a week later it's deleted. So if you look it up now, it's gone. But I've got the print screens, I got videos, absolute proof. Somebody could contact Google Maps and go, yeah, so-and-so from the city of Midland said, delete this because we're trying to cover up capital murders were connected to old show parties, Or I doubt if they said that, but I believe that was the reason. Tisha Brumley told me that her sister used to go to the old show parties, and she confirmed they were in the underground homes. Another print screen, Tisha Ann Wilkinson Brumley says, I've had friends and been involved in those old show parties. They are exactly what you say. They are in underground homes. And my sister used to go to the old show parties, okay, etc. Another witness, okay, after-hour parties going on during the Permian Basin International Oil Show would require a lot of parking, and the ex-wife had told me in so many words that a lot of people were here when I was ambushed and shot with my phone lines cut. So where would a lot of people park? That's a honest question, right? I believe they were parking in the Home Depot parking lot, and then going underground in that store before coming back towards my home via a tunnel that I found on historical Google Earth maps. The same thing was going on for the underground parties. Okay, well, so this is a 50,000 foot view on Google Maps again. Here's my home. Here's where I shot. Here's the underground home in my backyard. Here's a tunnel coming from the Home Depot store right here in Midland. Here's the bathrooms where kids were hurt under the store, right next to where the tunnel's located. Right in front of there's a big parking lot right here. Okay, I was telling my story to a Home Depot clerk one time, and she blurted out, "If you see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night, it's because we're stalking." And I hadn't asked that or thought about it or nothing, but a big party would need a lot of parking, and they would need an excuse. Okay. And I think that was the excuse that was going on. And it looks like they're going in the store, going underground, coming back via this tunnel right here, coming back to my home. This is where they're forcing the little girls to prostitute at the parties, murdering the homeowners that lived here, etc. And cops were at the parties. And that's why nobody's been arrested, folks. The parties were believed to have been held in the 4 3-bedroom $1 million underground safe houses said to be built in the 80s for the Bushes, who are from Midland. Based on old Google Maps, it looks like one of the homes is located in my backyard. Okay, but what I was making a point on this one, on the recorded phone call, the lady said there was 4 3-bedroom underground homes, and another woman said it was safe houses built for the Bushes, etc. Well, one of them, of course, obviously is in my backyard behind the Home Depot store. But another woman said there was one a half block away, and I found 2 homes that had the same mortar problem my home had, and had a nearby water well just like my home. So I suspected there might be an underground home here, underground home here. That leaves one more somewhere that we don't know where it's located. Or how many people been murdered there, But that's believe what's going on here for sure. A guy from Midland who asked to be kept anonymous told me that he asked his friend about the basement in the Home Depot store, and she sternly warned him, "Be careful who you're talking to about this and how that's dangerous. You need to be careful who you're talking to about that." He then said, "So I know she knows." I have a print screen of this, okay? I've got this guy's name. I provided to law enforcement, corrupt law enforcement, of course. I didn't know they were corrupt, but as far right now, I can't find any good law enforcement. If you know a good law enforcement officer not involved in sneaking under homes, murdering innocent homeowners, old show parties, rape and murder of girls, children, pedophile parties, just let them know. I got all the proof in the world, Anyway, this is what he said to me. She said, "How do you know that? Be careful who you're talking to about this, how dangerous it is. Be careful. It's dangerous to talk about the basement under the Home Depot store, because they'll sneak under your home, cut your phone lines, and shoot you, and then cover it up using dirty cops." She didn't say that, but that's my take on what happens when you talk about the basement under the Midland Home Depot store. Julia Weidman told me that she met with James Rawls, who worked for the city of Midland, and asked to see the permits for underground structures. And he, with a smile, that's what she said, told her that all permit records were accidentally deleted in 2014-15. Interestingly, Layla O'Brien, who told me that she worked on this underground safe house project, said they had a budget on permit for $7.35 million on permit. All we got to do is go find the permit, right? Oh no, all the records are deleted. Now all those records are deleted. Julia then told me when I brought up the subject of the basement to James Rawls at the Home Depot, it clearly unnerved him. But he was downright gloating about those missing records. He thought that was funny, murdering them little kids. I later found out that James Rawls worked for Home Depot before he worked for the city of Midland. I have print screens showing this. This is what Julia Weidman sent me on here in 2019, and she drove from Dallas to Midland to meet him. And she told me, she says, I asked him about it. He, with a smile, told me the records had been deleted. And then she says, I brought up the subject of the basement at Home Depot. It clearly unnerved him, but he was downright gloating about those missing records. They were just so funny. We deleted the records. Now what are you gonna do? Oh man, that lets them rape and murder children. Layla O'Brien, she was a CAD programmer, said she worked on this project at $7.35 million. And I said, Miles? She said, million. on permit. Well, all them permit records are deleted now. She said it used to be called the Safe House Project. It's finished in 1987 for the Bushes, okay? And maybe they've used that as an excuse. Oh, this is top secret. And they've used that excuse to force little girls to prostitute and murder the innocent homeowner above and these dirty cops that were caught under my home. And all this cover-up and these crimes and these parties has all been done because, oh, that was a president. It was Safe House. But the Bushes hadn't lived here in 20 years or more. I said James Rawls, who was so happy to tell Julia that the underground records had been deleted, had but become unnerved when she asked about the basement on the Home Depot store. I found out that he worked for Home Depot. He was a paint supervisor at the Home Depot right there, 2015 to present, and he was the one that in 2019 that Julia had met that worked for the city of Midland. They had hired him, and I suspect they hired him because of that. On July 2nd, 2019, I met Homeland Security agent Paul Cervantes at the Midland Home Depot store and another agent, and I showed them where I believe the human trafficking murder tunnel was located behind this store that I found on old Google Maps. This was the same day that Vice President Pence mysteriously flew back to Washington for an emergency. He had been in Midland a few months earlier meeting with the leaders of oil companies. 2 weeks later, the ground was dug up and concrete was poured there. I got this on video and went viral. I was back here with Homeland Security 2 weeks before they were pouring concrete right here. I was showing them where I believe this human trafficking murder tunnel was located, and they dug up the ground and poured concrete. I mean, just in your face, absolute corruption to the 10th to the 9th degree. At the same time, I was scheduled to meet Homeland at the Home Depot store. Vice President Pence flew back to Washington for an emergency. During this time, I was told to wait because an emergency had come up. That's what Homeland told me. Oh, we got an emergency. Hold on a second. And at the same time, Pence is flying back to Washington because he had an emergency. I said Pence had been in Midland a few months earlier meeting with oil company leaders, and many people have wondered if they offered a donation to him for his campaign for his help in covering up the crimes and murders connected with the oil show parties, okay? This happened at the same time. That's what I'm writing here. Pence abruptly cancels New Hampshire trip for unspecified reasons on July 2nd, 2019. Same day, same time that I was meeting Homeland at the Home Depot store. And that's what I'm saying there. And I've long suspected that Pence, and I don't know if Trump was, but I strongly suspect Pence was involved in trying to cover up these crimes and murders connected with these oil show parties. And because these oil companies are very wealthy, multi-billionaire companies. They could make or break in a presidential election, of course. Evidence was found proving that 5 Midland police officers were under my home on the night that I was shot by somebody under my home with my phone lines cut. Their names are Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hell, and my guess is they came in from the Home Depot underground entrance. The incriminated evidence was a police report which had been illegally withheld for 7 years. And that's what I'm showing you, a part of the police report right here. And I'm time stamping it out for you. I'm saying I'm seen crawling out at 10:42. Woodward and Naylor are seen arriving at 11:01 without being dispatched. 11:03, Sergeant Matt Davis is listed as being at my home and he's not seen arriving. We found that out on the police report. Lieutenant Dickey is inside my home and he was also not seen arriving. See, no one in the house, inside, and lots of odd things, but he wasn't seen arriving like Woodward and Naylor were seen 4 minutes earlier. So how did he get in my house without being seen arriving? And the answer is he came from under my house where the trap door is located. The ex-wife already told me about, from where I'd been shot, and I suspect they come from the Home Depot store entrance. Also, Greg Chatwell, Kenny Angel, Dylan Hale, time-stamped as being at my house, not seen arriving on the security cameras or going through the doors. So how did they get in my home? Were they beamed here like Star Trek, or did they come from under my home where a killer tried to kill me? Jordan Sosa told me that when he was 17 years old, that him and his friends were working on a home at 2011 Bedford Drive, and they found a secret entrance to a tunnel. He said it was a direct route towards the Midland Home Depot store, and it had rooms with beds, chairs, tables, dressings, and belongings. I have the print screens of what he said. That's what he said right here. 2011 Bedford. I was 17 doing remodeling work on a house in Old Midland, and we found a door shouldn't be there. Us being kids got curious, walked through the tunnel for 2 to 3 miles going west. There was a direct route to the Home Depot store. According to GPS, we found rooms with beds, chairs, tables, dressings, and belongings down there under that store. Interesting, I looked up the previous owner of this home on Bedford, and that same guy owned the clinic, my kidney clinic right now. They later sold it, but y'all probably saw my arm, where the it's black and blue from dialysis. Bernie Marcus, a billionaire co-founder of Home Depot, once again, Home Depot, has donated millions to Trump. And I had contacted Trump about the crimes and murders here before he was elected, while he was elected, and after he left office. In spite of the huge amount of evidence, the underground homes are still not exposed and no arrests have been made. I also contacted the presidents before and after him with the same results. Of course, you don't talk to a president, you can only write them. Interestingly, I had contacted President Obama when Biden was his vice president, and then I've contacted President Biden after he was elected president, which is right now. Nothing has changed. Same crime still going on. There's no reason to think they have ever stopped raping and murdering little kids or having oil show parties or they're murdering homeowners. It is outright lawless. We have lost rule of law. Here's from the internet. Home Depot's 93-year-old co-founder, who said nobody works anymore because of socialism, has donated $64 million to elect Trump and the Republican Party over the years. That was in 22, And so I was going to show you that, and you could see why the co-founder of Home Depot might not want Trump to expose the underground homes and stop these crimes and murders here. If they got a tunnel going from their store to my home, even if it's filled with concrete, I just let you know what's going on. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Check it out.